Hey, what's going on, guys? Arekkz here. We have the whole squad today because we are coming to the end of the year, and as is tradition, has been at least for the past couple of years, we're talking about our games of the year. There have been lots of good games this year, and we want to talk about them. So what we have done is, as per Game Awards rules, we've kind of got the games that can appear in the list, so anything that came out in December cannot qualify. We have some games we want to talk about, and I'm gonna kind of press a random number generator button so that we'll pick them out as we go to talk about them to keep it varied, and we'll of course round it out with our outstanding game of the year. But as always, let us know in the comments down below what games you guys chose, because yeah, it's been a pretty wild year, right? But guys, let's begin. Let us begin. I'm gonna press the button, and I have picked game number 3 on the list, which is Genshin Impact.
Whoa! All right, nice.
I feel like
this might be one for me to start off.
Maybe
you guys can start, because honestly, I haven't played a great deal of Genshin Impact. I wanted to. I've seen it
Which
visually.
is such a shame.
Yeah,
Such a shame.
So
Genshin stinky.
It's a controversial game amongst this group, guys.
Yeah.
So it's obviously like a mobile game, but also out on PC and PlayStation. But there is like no cross save between PlayStation and PC and mobile that are like linked together. So it's kind of a really beautiful game.
Yes, it is.
It reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild, which is why I'm super surprised that Arekkz isn't really interested in playing it lately.
To be clear, just before,
it's got the same sort of style, but super like anime focused, and it's just a gorgeous like exploration experience. But jump on what you're gonna say.
No, I was gonna say, to be clear, it's not that I'm not interested in playing it. I genuinely wanted to play it, but then when it came out, I swear there's always something else that comes out at the same time, and I haven't had the time to play it.
Nah, that's a weak excuse. You're out here playing Hades and then all of these other games. Like, come on.
Okay, well, still, I haven't played it yet.
I know,
but
if I
anyway,
had, like, Nintendo on the thing, you'd just be.
If it was
on the Switch.
To be fair, I am waiting for them to release the definitive version on Nintendo Switch.
Oh my god.
Ew.
But yeah, it's a super grindy game. It has a lot of features that mobile games have. It has like an energy system, which is a resin system. Has a primo gem system, which is the like premium currency that you used for like the gacha pulls, because it's got a gacha system in it as well for all the characters. So although it's a game that I personally couldn't recommend to someone because it is a like kind of like a gambling game with the gacha system, although you don't need to do that, you can play free to play. But let's be honest, if you want the best experience, if you want the most powerful characters, if you want to be stronger because there's a dupe system of fusing together, then you do want to be spending money. So I couldn't recommend people play it on that basis, but as a free-to-play experience, especially with like a really beautiful, gorgeous world to explore, I did actually really enjoy playing it, and I do jump in every now and again to do some dailies in there.
Yeah, I know someone in the comments going to be like, but you can play the whole game for free, and I have got every single character, and I got Klee the first time I did a roll. Yeah, okay, cool. But you also spent like 10 million hours of your life in it. You paid with something.
I know people, I personally know people that have spent like 300-400 and not got what they wanted, so I can't recommend it to anyone, because if you're spending £400 on a free-to-play game and you don't get the character or the item you want, I can't justify it myself.
What about you?
I literally played it for like 2 hours on stream and spent like £200 and didn't get like the character that I wanted. Ended up getting 5-star Jean like 50 times.
Yeah, you got the character I wanted, dude. Like I was so upset. No, I mean,
gotcha games.
Yeah,
gotcha games.
I guess so. Like,
Gotcha.
I would say my experience has been very similar to Paradise. I used to absolutely love the game. I'll be honest, I haven't touched it in months at this point, just because I feel like, you know, like you're saying, like the exploration's really nice. I really enjoyed the collectathon aspects of it, like getting the maybe that's an unpopular opinion, I don't know, but getting the, you know, the Geoculuses and the Animunculuses and stuff like that was like a really therapeutic experience. You could just kind of sit down. But once I'd done that, I found that like the kind of flow of the game I didn't like, and that kind of comes down to these sort of mobile aspects. Like resin as a system was just utter trash. I just hated it. Like it's so frustrating that you know, being able to just get rewarded for doing bosses and stuff with your friends even, is locked behind this resin. Like, one thing that was really, really frustrating for me was the co-op experience. You know, if your friend was a lower level than you, obviously they couldn't join your game, that's fine. But if you were to go back and help them, you would do so for absolutely no reward, because you would get their trash, like, world rewards, right? So just like small things like that, I think they definitely need to work on like co-op. But as you say, like, otherwise, visually, absolutely stunning, breathtaking game. I hope there's a Breath of the Wild-esque kind of game, maybe more single-player focused, that comes out with those kind of graphics. Like, I think they've really nailed the sort of anime cell shading style. Like, I think they're the peak right now.
And the music.
It's called Immortal Phoenix Rising, Vest. You can play that. But anyway, since we have such a long list, I'm going to cut the Genshin chat short, and we're going to go and move on to the next title. So, the next one in my random generated number, is number 10, Ghost of Tsushima.
I
wanted to talk about this.
We're already here? Okay.
End the video here, innit? Like,
after this, I mean...
It's hard. Right. I know it didn't win the official game of this was my game of the year. This was, I'm sure for many people it was. This game was so good. Combat, visuals, photo mode, the whole experience. I love this game. I feel like before I gush like 2-6, I'll let you jump in first, like, because you really enjoyed this one, right?
Yeah, this would have been my game of the year if another game didn't come out. But
very special game.
This game is definitely up there. I think this is one of those games that gamers will just resonate with as well. It's just value, innit? Like, you know those gamers out there that was always like, I wish games back in the day were made like how they were. They're all DLC and you have to pay to win and do all of this stuff. This game is like none of that. It's just literally you play it for like 40 hours value. Plus the multiplayer Legends as well is completely
Legends
out of nowhere, dude.
Yeah. That's why I was so surprised it kind of didn't win Game of the Year, because it gave you, as you said, it gave you so much value, right? I mean, it had you could not have had Legends, and it's still, like, before Legends even came out, it was my favorite Game of the Year regardless, like, because I just love the experience. It gave me like so many Breath of the Wild elements where when I was exploring the world, like, I would constantly get distracted because I would see something that I would just want to go and, like, I love those worlds. I played so many open world games where you explore but you kind of just sort of go through the motions and just go through the world, whereas Tsushima, there was always something that was just distracting me, like, I want to go and do this. And like the combat, I still, my favorite moment of this year, like from a gameplay point of view, when you unlock the ghost stance, I feel like the game's been out long enough that I can talk about it now. When you unlock the ghost dance,
beautiful.
Well, the game paces you so well. Like you get a lot of new stuff, and then by the time you get to that point, you're like, I must have got everything now. Like we must be near the end. And then they hit you with ghost stance, which is like the coolest thing in the game. So really, really cool. You mentioned photo mode. I think this is the first game where I've actually consciously been stopping to do photos and photo mode like all the time, you know.
Standard, like it has set the industry standard for photo modes in games. Like I will say that with my hand on my chest. Okay, like that is. I'm glad as well because I mean, I don't know if it's informed any like recent games decisions, but like I feel like photo mode is going to be like a much more prominent thing where people are going to really be like going as like full, like a whole hog, I suppose, for lack of a better term, as Ghost of Tsushima did. But yeah.
I think that's why, if the other game that I'm going to talk about wasn't on the list, this game should win like Game of the Year, because photo modes had been in game, but like this is like the benchmark, and it's changed every other game going forward. Like I don't think half of the games this year would have come out with photo modes if it wasn't for Ghost, because of the impact it had on the game. It should just win Game of the Year just simply for the fact that when you're running and you're doing one of those missions where you got to follow an AI companion, they did it in Red Dead, but I feel like I noticed it way more in this. Like the AI companion will run along with you at the same time.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah.
We've got we've got the tech to do that.
Classic escort.
Except the tech to do that finally.
Except for when you were on the quest with the old lady and she's like, "I'm still gonna make you walk." I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but that's got some story.
That's true. But anyway, Ghost, incredible game. But again, we got lots of things to get through, so I'm gonna keep this conversation moving. But Ghost, Yeah, definitely. Right, what's next on our list? Number 7. Miles Morales. Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I'll leave this to you guys. I haven't had a chance to crack.
2Six is our comic book guy. 2Six is our Spider. I mean, although Paradise is a big Spider-Man fan as well. I love this. You know what? I'm gonna just jump in to begin with.
Well,
True. Oh, sorry. Fair enough. But I really enjoyed this one because I missed the original one. I played the first part of it, and again, like, hey, listen, right, this will be my regular excuse. There was something else that came out at the time of the original Spider-Man, so I didn't get to play it all. But I played the full Miles Morales, and that experience was so cool. I like Miles as a Spider-Man character anyway. I think he's just like fantastic. The style in this game is awesome, and yeah, I had a ton of fun with it. I will say it was interesting. Like after playing something like, I know they're different games, but after playing something like Ghost of Tsushima, which had like this huge, varied open world, like it kind of did magnify like just how repetitive some of the aspects of the game were. It was kind of, you know, when you really bake it down to like, you know, go here and complete these same number of tasks. But at the same time, combat, like, it was just simple fun. Like combat is just feels super satisfying in that game. Flying through the city was incredible. The amount of things you could unlock, like, yeah, for a PlayStation 5 launch title, I think it was spectacular.
Can I just jump in real quick? Because I just want to say, as someone whose Spider-Man is their number one favorite superhero of all time, playing like all the Spider-Man games from PlayStation 1 onwards, think back to those experiences where you used to web swing just into like the blank nothing sky. The graphics were really bad, even though back in the day they looked really good. And now you have this like super polished, amazing version of Spider-Man to play where you can like live out the fantasy. You can be swinging around, you can dive, you can do air tricks, you have a great combat system, you have all the gadgets. And then with the Miles Morales one, which I haven't completed, I've played a couple hours of it at the moment, but there's just so much. I feel like the game has so much to give, even if it is a bit repetitive. For a Spider-Man fan, you can live out the fantasy in the game, and I really love it for that specifically. And as you said, 2Six is our comic guy, but he's got me into it recently, and so I've even got myself the Fallout number 4 full appearance of Miles Morales. So I'm really excited to finish the game, but I'll move on to 2Six because you finished it, haven't you?
Yeah, I didn't remember. Like, I don't know. I've always talked to these guys, and I said like I didn't really like Spider-Man, the base game, as much. I don't think it was as polished as like some of the other superhero games, and like Batman Arkham. I feel like Batman Arkham, when that came out, just banged. It was different. And when, like, even compared to other Spider-Man games, I just had a lot more fun with, like, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Web of Shadows. I think Spider-Man Web of Shadows is my, like, secret favourite, but, like, if I'm going to say it to people, like, Spider-Man 2 is the one, because people will roast you if you said Web of Shadows is, like, your favourite. But with Miles, I don't know, maybe it's because it's just had a more hip-hop vibe, and I'm just, you know, I'm just that more street, urban dude. I'm going to resonate with this one a little bit more, but, like, I just liked it so much better. I just thought the combat was better as well because he had all the Venom abilities and it flowed. I feel like it was a shorter experience and there wasn't so much filler, because I just feel like bare games just have so much filler missions nowadays that it just causes the story to just be a bit boring and long. You just end up getting burnt out on these open world games. So like, I just enjoyed it for the self-contained experience that it was. It had a camera mode, it had new abilities, it had some sick costumes, it had some cool stuff. I wish they had better music in it, because they had like some good beats, but they didn't have some bangers. They could have gone ham with it.
Oh, no way.
Like, compared to like Into the Spider-Verse, where Into the Spider-Verse had like bangers, this could have had like some bangers and added to like the theme a lot more. So.
I definitely agree. I will say, and like, maybe this is because I haven't finished it, but in the original Marvel Spider-Man, you know, before this standalone expansion for Miles Morales, you had so many more gadgets to use in combat. And I know Miles has the abilities and like the invisibility and the Venom Strike stuff, but for me, I really like the gadgets of Spider-Man as well. So the only thing I would change about it is make it longer and add in all the gadgets that you originally had. But again, I don't know if you unlock those later on. So
Fair. Cool. Well, Spider-Man ticked off the list. Moving on to number 8. Oh, Demon's Souls Remake. Here we go. You guys have been catching the Team Reacts.
I think Arekkz, you got to start this one off.
You
because
do, yes.
You've been going through those bosses on Team
I
Remake.
have. You know what? I mean, I mentioned this in my very first sort of Demon Souls gameplay video. Like, I was, in the grand scheme of things, I was late to the Soulsborne series. Like, I got in with, I tried back in the day with Dark Souls 1 and 2. Never really clicked. It wasn't until Dark Souls 3 that I completed that one entirely. And then from Dark Souls 3, I've just been like, any Soulsborne style game, I'm there. Like Sekiro, like Neo, like any of those kind of games like that, I was just there. So going back to this one,
Don't believe him, guys. He's making it all up.
oh yeah,
Okay.
according to shout out to the Discord. No, but yeah. So like, a chance to kind of go back to this. Obviously, visually, this was just a spectacular launch title. I mean, like visually, this game looks amazing. Like when you're walking around like some of the castles and you walk out from the dark and just the light hits you, it's like everything. But the combat, like it's really like, you know, I really enjoy the trial and error aspect of these games. Anyway, I just love the fact that, you know, no games have given me that sense of satisfaction when you just get beaten by bosses so many times. I can't believe I still died to the Shield Knight so many times, Tower Knight. But anyway, point is, like, that sort of sense of satisfaction is super cool. Like, I've got a long way to go still, because obviously I've been playing through slowly to try and sort of film the Team React episodes, so I'm actually quite far behind. I know Paradise has sort of finished it and stuff, and 2.6 has got pretty far in it. But yeah, I think it's awesome, man. I've loved every minute of it so far, and it's just kind of a great chance if you've missed the original, because I appreciate trying to go back to playing Demon's Souls like on, you know, back in the PS3. Like, that's going to be pretty tough. So I feel like it's just a great it's a great entry to the series. If you've never played any of the Soulsborne games, I think it's also a good thing to kind of throw to you guys, because, you know, you guys weren't too much of a fan of like Dark Souls, say like 3 for example, but you guys have really taken to Demon's Souls. So maybe we should like touch on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we hated it. Like, I hated all the other Souls games. I was like, why do people even like play these type of games? Like, this is just, I don't, what is it? Sadistic, like masochistic like behavior here. Like, just going through to the first boss and just getting like reset. I think Bloodborne was literally the one that I played most recently. I was like, why are people doing this?
I have to say, on that exact same one, I played Bloodborne on stream for quite a few hours. I must have done. This is what frustrates me, and I know that some people like this, the trial and error aspect. I hate it so much. I don't like having to learn like the hard way by dying and restarting everything when it was something that, like, an enemy jumped out a window and insta-killed you, and you had no way of knowing unless you went down that alleyway. So I hate that so much. I know a lot of people like that, but for me, that's like,
It's not,
I don't know what the word is.
skill-based.
It's like
skill-based
fake
or-
challenge,
yeah.
because I played Bloodborne. I did the first 3 bosses without dying once. This was on stream. The bosses were amazing. They were great. They were challenging. I didn't even die. But on the levels in between, I must have died 100 times, not knowing which alleyway was instant death and which wasn't. So in terms of the whole genre, I hate that aspect of it. But Demon's Souls Remake, I think they hit the sweet spot where it was challenging, where you got punished if you made a mistake, but you weren't always just insta-killed without any visual, like, or anything that gave it away. At least from my experience. And I completed the game basically twice now.
Yeah, I like the fact that the areas were slightly smaller than like all the other Souls games that I've seen. Like, you loop around to an area that's like a checkpoint, so it doesn't feel like you're going back too far, but then you got to like a boss that had like some sick mechanic in it as well. So it felt like about 20 minutes between every section if you did it well. Just going through for the first time, you get to like another boss or so, and then like if you knew what you were doing, you could get through to the boss in like 2 minutes or whatever. So it wasn't too long to like run back to the boss. So I really enjoyed it. I just think the visuals added to it. I don't know, I didn't really like the engine that they were running on before, but I feel like the visuals of this and Bluepoint just did such a good job on like how it looks and everything that I just think it added to the overall kind of feeling and aesthetic of the whole game as well. So I really like this game. It was a surprise to me. I just picked it up because there was nothing else to really play on PS5 aside from Miles on launch, and I was just like, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I recommend anybody that doesn't really like Souls games to pick this up and play it.
Fair.
On that same topic as well, if you are totally new to Souls games and you want to play Demon's Souls Remake, if you want the full experience, pick a melee class, go in as a knight or a soldier or whatever. But if you struggle at these games, or you want the easy experience, you don't really care to be going through it hard mode, then pick the royalty class. It's an entirely different experience when you play through on royalty. And I learned this on my second playthrough, so if you are like, I'm not very good at those games but I want to try it, pick royalty. I think you'll have
Paradise
a
is
better
sponsored
Unless
by
you want the
royalty.
full
I swear. Every time we talk about Demon Souls, this guy must be taking a kickback from royalty. But anyway, we're moving it on to the next one, right? We're gonna jump to. I know this is a big one for everyone, right? I'm gonna throw it to you first, Bess, because I know you didn't play the last one. So, but this one. Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can start this one off, but I know this is going to go to 2.6 afterwards as well, but yeah.
Oh, no, of course. I mean, it's interesting you would throw it to me because I've not completed it yet.
No,
so
but you were pretty...
A measured response.
True, but you've been
You
like...
haven't completed half of the games on this list, so you've got to bring it in somewhere.
I guess that is true.
But it'd be good to kind of cool, because I feel like it'd be good to kind of sort of go from your opinion as well, because you and I came from similar positions, right? Where, correct me, I'm pretty sure that's correct, right? You and I didn't play the original.
Nintendo, yeah.
Right? Whereas
yeah,
these guys
exactly,
did. So I feel like from us, we had a very different experience to it. Like I, it was always one of those big gaps in my gaming history, be like saying, "Oh, I never played Final Fantasy VII." And I'll tell you this, right? I had no desire to go back and play the original because I'm not even a turn-based guy. But so yeah, for you, like jumping into it, like how is it for you?
Well, honestly, you know, Final Fantasy VII, like the original game, is just. It's a classic. It's a masterpiece, right? It's up there with the likes of stuff like, you know, Ocarina of Time. Like, if you're a gamer, you know what Final Fantasy VII is. And you've got kind of a gist of what it's about. Everyone probably should know who Cloud Strife is, even if you've never played it, right?
Never heard of it.
Sephiroth, etc. But what's it called? So with that, I kind of went in knowing what to expect, I suppose. But I was just completely blown away. Just even beforehand, like the trailers, just seeing everything they've improved and just comparing it to the old game, I was just like, wow, this is as a project, as a like an actual like project, like just set aside that it's Final Fantasy VII for a second, like it's just an amazing thing. Like I think it is again the golden standard for remakes, man. Like you know, like I would say that and like Resi as well, like the Resi remakes, like those have just been absolutely insane. Anyone who played those original games is probably flabbergasted about that stuff. But yeah, just essentially, as for just playing it, like I've been enjoying it. I've been trying to kind of, you know, stream it whenever I get the chance. And yeah, it's been a really fun experience, man. Like the writing's great. Like I love the characters. I think it's really nice to be able to actually kind of like, you know, connect with these characters now in a way that I couldn't before because I didn't play the original, you know.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean I'm just gonna throw it to T6 because I want to hear what he has to say about Final Fantasy VII, man. Like let's.
I think it's nostalgia talking right here about that. This is video game perfection. You know what it is? Is when you play a game and you're just like so immersed in it because it's so good and it's got like hits those story beats and everything. You're just like, it was literally like watching like anime to me. Like, you know when you just see a sick episode of anime, this what this game was. It was just so good. I love the characters. When Sephiroth was doing just a madness, it's just awesome. When there's like Cloud is just jumping up and doing craziness, and the music as well. The music is just 10 out of 10 amazing.
Yes.
I'm just gonna fanboy over this. This is not even gonna be a coherent like speech about like a game or anything, or being like any way reserved about it. I am a through and through Final Fantasy fanboy, and I just love this game. Yeah. That's it.
All right, well, I'll jump in next then, because this is tied for my game of the year.
Right.
I'll give it to 2.6 because it's definitely his number one, but this is tied for me. And I was so worried because it's touching a game that a lot of people love, like I love, like characters that I love. I love turn-based combat. I know you don't like Arekkz. I love turn-based combat. I was worried that they were going to mess the combat up. I was worried that there was so much stuff that could have gone wrong. And then the game comes out, played it through, and they hit everything right. I was super happy with the graphics, the visuals, the combat, the characters, the voice acting, the music. There was some things that were you know, some of the backgrounds, some of the areas that look as good as I liked.
Oh mate, when there's a part, I can't remember, it was like chapter 11 or something like that, when you're climbing the tower, and I was like, I'm gonna take a sick photo here, and the skybox, I was like, oh man, this would have been a sick photo, and it was like,
so you know, it's not perfect for me, but it hits so much stuff right, and for me they did it justice. The characters that I love, so I really enjoyed it. Can't wait for the next part. And yeah, it's a game that if you haven't played it, even if you've never played the original, that I wouldn't hesitate to recommend to play because it's really, really good.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cool. All right, let's keep it moving.
That game
now,
was so good.
We're going?
And I was just saying that game was so good. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was, especially considering I love the combat because I say I'm not a turn-based guy, and I was invested in the combat. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
it's so good. Tifa's the best.
Yeah, Tifa.
Shout out to
easy.
Tifa. Shout out to Tifa.
Easily.
But moving on from there, let's go. A game that came out.
Hold on. Arekkz is the best. All right, let's get this.
No. As like, I prefer Aerith, right? But Tifa, combat-wise.
Did you?
Anyway, hey, listen, we got some games
She
to
has
get
a
through.
Unimine.
We got some games
Very
to
nice.
get
We
through.
can talk
All
about
right.
that
So
Sorry,
we're moving on
sorry.
because this game came at the right time. Came at the beginning of lockdown. Shout out to Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Right. You know what?
I feel like it's a classic at this point.
This
as
is a
well.
classic, right? But you know what? It also, because I have played Animal Crossing before, and I mentioned this before it came out. I had this love-hate relationship with Animal Crossing, where like the first in the old one that I used to play, like I played on 3DS, and I would play through. For the first couple of weeks, I was like, this game is great. And then suddenly the veil was pulled back and I was like, wait a minute, I'm just doing chores, I'm digging up weeds, I'm speaking to neighbours I don't like, what is this? And then I hated the game. I fully expected the same thing to happen.
What do you mean, like, the veil is pulled back? You're literally doing that from the start.
No, you are.
I don't understand.
But what I mean is, you're doing that from the
That
start.
goes to show you that you're just playing it because it's a Nintendo game.
No.
You never wanted
What
to
I
play
mean
it.
is, like, initially, I like those kind of games where you can kind of build that cycle. It's like, every day I do this, and this, right? But then after a while, like, I really, it's like when you step out of the Matrix. Like, I knew I was doing it, but now I realized that I was being forced to pick weeds and speak to neighbors. I was like, I don't want to do this. So I thought the same would happen for this, but honestly, this game I kept playing for probably half the year. So, I know partly we were covering it as well, so obviously that was kind of like an additional, like, motivation, but honestly I really enjoyed it. Like, there was definitely some more things I would have sort of liked to have seen added, but they've been adding like things here and there as throughout the year, so I think it's been keeping everybody kind of sort of sane throughout the year. And I honestly I didn't expect to sort of see like 2-6 of all people playing Animal Crossing, but
I was banging that game out. I loved it.
He loved it.
The thing is, it came out during lockdown, during a time where a lot of things were uncertain, a lot of people were scared and worried, and it was like the perfect escape. It was the most like innocent, beautiful, calming experience to jump into your island and to pick weeds and to make friends and grow plants and all that stuff. So I think for that reason, it's like going to be a really special game for a lot of people.
I think more game developers need to release stuff in just March. I think that's another reason.
Yeah.
It came down during like lockdown and everything like popping off, but it actually came out during like March, early like summertime, where there wasn't that many other games coming out.
It was literally just Doom and it, right? Like,
It was like, Doom and that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool.
yeah.
Which
Doom
I gotta
and
say,
HyperX and
I love the memes between both of those games. Like, I love how those two communities have kind of come together. Like it's kind of a
That was
fun
awesome. That was awesome.
thing. Yeah. What's it called? I mean, just real quick, like, I absolutely love Animal Crossing. I played the original on GameCube. I played Wild World, but then I sort of like fell off because they were all on handhelds, and I didn't have a 3DS for like a very long time. So what's it called? But yeah, this new one, absolute improvement on the formula. Like, I love the kind of terraforming mode as well. I think that was like a really good addition because there's some really cool towns. Like, that's all I wanted to say anyway. We can move on. But yeah, I just figured I'd
Cool.
Throw
Right,
it
we've got a few more games on the list to touch on. We're going to kind of rattle through a few of these ones slightly faster. So the next one that's come up on the random generation is COD Warzone. I don't shoot things, so I want to throw to Paradise Vest and 2-6 because I know you guys played it a bit on stream. Keep it moving.
All right. Cool.
Call of Duty,
Yep.
but just multiplayer, but battle royale, but free with cool skins and crazy battles and the kill streaks and everything that you want from Call of Duty multiplayer for free. I can't complain.
And the sticks. Don't forget about the sticks, boys.
I didn't want to include this on the list, but they wanted to, so there it is.
I had to include it. It's like, I know that you guys love Call of Duty story. I love Call of Duty
Yeah, the story.
multiplayer.
I know, I love the
and
multiplayer.
this is the embodiment
as well.
of that.
It's alright. I don't know, I think I'm over Battle Royale games. I feel like PUBG was still the best Battle Royale game out there, like, ever, because of like the way that it was made and the timing. I think timing was an important part of it. I know people are enjoying COD Warzone because of like how it is and whatever, but
I think they play Warzone because it's Call of Duty,
Yeah.
less so than because it's VR. At least that's what I think. And there are the other game modes as well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I would say even compared to like Blackout, which was the last one, like it's one of the better VRs out there. Like, I'd say between like this and Apex for me.
No, this is definitely second, like,
this-
best to
yeah.
me, like,
Yeah.
100%. It's definitely
say.
like a game that I could play, but I just get frustrated when like, I can't boot up on my PC properly because you have to.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess as you say, it's like
Installing shaders.
it kind of is that sort of like
Yeah.
saturation of the genre, right? Same thing with looter shooters now, right? It's like you kind of
Yeah.
done and done.
Yeah, been there, done that.
However, the Halloween mode, they added zombies.
Yes.
Get out
I
of
love
here,
it.
man!
I love
Paradise
it.
loves a
it was
zombie.
all right. It was all right.
Paradise loves a zombie.
Remember when they were jumping up on the roof and we were all
Yep.
just, like screaming at the top of our lungs?
Oh dear.
So cool.
Right, cool. Well, moving on from there, quick mention, because obviously, haven't played too much of it, but it came up in the list of games that people were talking about for this year. Half-Life Alyx, which, let's be honest, right? I've played the first 2 hours of it. I will say I've played some different VR experiences. I would say of a lot of the VR experiences that I have played, this is probably one of the better ones. Like, it was really cool, even right from the get-go, when like you step out into the balcony, you're looking out, just the sheer spectacle of it. Because I feel like a lot of the VR games that I've personally played have often had that distinct sort of alpha beta feel to them. It's like, it's cool, but it definitely feels like a tech demo. This obviously just felt like a cinematic experience in VR. I will say, I've had mixed experiences with VR. Generally speaking, I'm alright. This was the first game that literally made me feel very dizzy. Like, I'll just walk around and I'm just like, I felt like I don't even know. I don't know what it was. Like, I've never.
I think that's just VR side effect. I think that's.
But it's
all VR
interesting
games.
because
I think it's-
I never got that playing Riggs, which was the one on PlayStation where you move like super fast in mechs. Like, I could dash around the whole time and I would be fine. But in this one, just walking across the floor, I was just like, whoa! Like, I just
That's really interesting. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was my.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even played it, so I can't say too much on it. But as someone who, like, I was a fairly early adopter when it came to VR, and I played like a ton of titles. Absolutely love it. But just looking at like the stuff that you played and just like stuff around Half-Life Alyx in general, yeah, it is insane. Like, it's the first kind of like proper AAA sort of like experience that I've seen personally that I'm eager to try once I get my VR set up back. But what's it called? The one thing I did want to say is, like, there was literally like a teacher that did a maths lesson in Half-Life Alyx. Like, he
Really?
took some like chalk or whatever, or like a marker, and went up to like the
Oh, the
greenhouse
window,
and
yeah.
started writing stuff out. And like, when you can do stuff like that in this game, like, it's just that kind of like just tells you how much, like, how insane this game is in terms of like just like
It's funny that
mechanics and stuff.
I'm
Like,
glad
it's
to hear
so
that
cool.
somebody made use of the whiteboard and didn't
Yeah.
just spend their time drawing dongs on there, because that's what most people did. But anyway, moving on from there, we've got 3 more games to quickly touch on the list. Let's move on and speak about Valhalla. I was looking forward to this one. I'm the Viking guy. I like my Vikings.
Yes.
I was already excited for this one, and Paradise has finished it. I'm about 40 hours in, so I know that I've still probably got a good like 20 hours ahead of me. So I'm gonna finish it this Christmas. It is on my list of things to do because I really want to do it. But yeah, I enjoyed it, honestly. Like, I never played the entirety of what were the previous ones, Odyssey and Origins. I played bits of them but never played them through to completion. But I just like, so the Viking hook definitely has pulled me through this one, because I used to play every single Assassin's Creed game religiously until Black Flag, and then I just fell off, right? So, but anyway, regardless of that, I liked I love the sort of the setting for this one. I loved all the kind of the aggressive style combat. I like the fact that when you're raiding villages, you're generally in Assassin's Creed games you do a lot of stuff solo, but like this one, there's a load of things where you're just like rocking through towns with your lads, and it's just like just rolling through as like a Viking army was awesome. And obviously all the kind of the fact that you then got to go to Asgard and do all like the mystical stuff. Ooh,
Right.
that was cool.
I think we said like everything there is to say about the game in like our review
Yeah.
that we've already got on the channel. But just to reiterate on it, it's the first new Assassin's Creed game since probably like Assassin's Creed 3, which is when they really changed the way the game plays and made it like really RPG focused with like gear and score and all that kind of stuff. That for me like did it well. So I think Valhalla is a really good, if you've been watching Assassin's Creed like over the last years and you're like, oh, Odyssey, Origins, they're not really talking to me, well, Valhalla might be one to try, because for me it was the best Assassin's Creed experience since Black Flag, which is my personal favorite.
Fair, yeah, I think that's fair to say. These guys, you guys haven't really sort of like played too much. I mean, does it appeal to any?
I'm not, like, I want to play it, but then you guys said it was like 60 hours, and I'm like, I don't play another 60-hour game with a bunch of filler missions again this year. I just want to play it and play the story and just get all the cool stuff.
I will say though, on that note, like this is definitely one of the ones, and I've heard this from a lot of people, kind of compared to previous ones. I do feel like the story progresses pretty organically for the most part in this one. Like, you know, you don't, a lot of the time in previous ones you have to stop and grind for a bit. For this one, most of the time, by the time you finish that story mission, you're the right level for the next section anyway. So apart from when it got near the end where Paradise said you had to like jump around and do a few things before the last part revealed itself, I felt like the story progressed pretty smoothly.
Okay.
But
yeah, there was no grinding. The flow was good. It was just, you know, spoiler-free version is that once you've done almost everything, there are certain quests that you have to do that aren't immediately obvious that you need to do those to actually finish the game. So that's where I got like caught up. I was like, what do I do like this? You know?
Yeah.
But other than that, the whole like quest experience and gameplay was really good, and I didn't go out of my way doing side quests. I just beelined the story, and I didn't have to grind. I didn't find it a struggle.
That's good. True.
Sweet. All right. So 2 more games. Next up, big one, controversial one, The Last of Us Part 2. Paradise, take it away.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is tied for my game of the year. Basically between this, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Ghost of Tsushima, they were like all my favorites. I'm glad that one of them like officially won Game of the Year. For me, Last of Us Part 2, there's one thing that I'm not going to spoil anything. There's one thing that I don't like to do with one of the characters that's in the first game, and I know a lot of people are upset about that, and I do kind of share that opinion. But for me, the characters, the acting, the voice acting, the emotion that it draws upon you, the sort of character development throughout the game, the twists, just the whole journey as itself is like an emotional like car crash to experience, and for that reason, like it's one of my games of the it's tied with my game of the year this year, because it makes you think about things, it makes you feel things, it really does make you dive into those characters and what they're thinking and what they're feeling. It's about the nuances, exactly, and I feel like there's so few games that really get you that like into the character's head and emotions as this. And I think that, and I have to go back to the acting. I think the acting from like all the main characters in that game was just really good, and you could tell that it was motion captured, that they were in the room together, that there was real tears, you know, happening. So for me, like outside of my one gripe, which I can't say because it's a spoiler, I really, really, really loved the game, and I'm glad that a lot of people did, and it's got that big controversial side of it.
Just say kneecaps in it.
Kneecaps.
I wasn't happy about the kneecaps. But outside of that, I really, really did enjoy the experience, and I have to say, I'm biased. It's a freaking zombie game. It's Last of Us.
Well, the fans in the comment.
It's a game. Last of Us Part 1 changed the scene of games for story games, you know. So this is the follow-up.
I'm going to say,
and I enjoy
the fans in the comments are going to say, well, Paradise, they're not zombies, they're clickers.
Yes, I know. Technically, you know, we're going to be pedantic about zombies.
I'm just saying. I know you're the zombie guy, but I'm just. But yeah,
you are right. No, technically they're not. But I understand how The Last of Us works. I understand that it's like a fungus that takes over their brain, and you know, the clickers, they lose their sight and they have enhanced hearing and all of this stuff. I get it, but
I hate clickers. I'm telling you, I hate zombies. I hate clickers even more. Like when I hadn't played, I played Last of Us 1, played it all the way through, but I didn't ever play like the remaster or anything like that. I just played the original when it first came out, and then haven't touched it since. So it was a long time since I played that. When it came out, and I was suddenly reminded, and just hearing this horrible clicking noise, I was like, I played the game, I finished it, I enjoyed it, shout out to Abby, but that was a horrific experience. That's the thing, Last of Us was a weird one. Like I don't feel like I can say, conventionally speaking, I enjoyed the game. It was an experience, right? It was stressful, it was rough, it was just like draining, it was like, I wouldn't say it was an enjoyable experience.
Like climbing Mount Everest.
Yeah.
You're not going to forget it.
Yeah, you're not going to forget it.
Definitely. But yeah, speaking of not forgetting, the final game on the list, right? This one is on my list of games to finish this Christmas, so I'm not going to speak about it from the point of someone that is very, very knowledgeable on this title, but I have played probably about 6 hours so far of Hades, right? Now, this this one obviously really appeals to me because I've played a lot of the games, the Supergiant games beforehand, things like Bastion, Transistor, stuff like that. And I also massively loved, a different developer, but massively loved Dead Cells, which was actually my game of the year it came out, or one of my games of the year it came out. I just love those kind of roguelite style games. And honestly, Hades, from what I've played so far, gives me the same sort of addictive arcade style fix that Dead Cells does, just in a isometric nature. Obviously, speaking to people that have played more of it, I know that there is a much grander story in Hades, and of course that is one of the big selling points because the more you progress through, the more you evolve the story. There's kind of a lot of depth to it and stuff. But the main thing for me, honestly, I play that more so just because I love the whole sort of, you can jump into those games for 10 minutes, get a quick run, or you can sink 2, 3, 4 hours into it in the same way you could with Dead Cells. The second you die, you're like, I want to go again. I love the combat, love the kind of progression through it, the progression with the characters, and the fact that you unlock all these different items as you go. So yeah, that is 100% on my list for Christmas to finish up.
Cool. I can say one thing on Hades. I think it would actually make a really good comic series.
Okay.
Especially if they kept the art style and just made it into a comic series about all the characters in it. I think it would be really cool. Like that. Make it a comic. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I wish some people would take these smaller game concepts and apply them to AAA games though, stuff like Hades and Bastion and Transistor and stuff. I feel like they're just cool concepts, and a load of the indie games take risks because they're smaller games and they're able to do that. But you just get regurgitated ideas when it comes to AAA games a lot of the time, where you can see these small indie games just doing an absolute madness.
Give them the budget, drop it on them.
I know it didn't come out this year, but even if you take something like Among Us, right? It's that realistically is our game of the year, even though it didn't come out this year because we played so much of it. If they were able to take those risks and apply that to a AAA game, it would just be really good. I don't know.
True.
Get on it, make some money in it.
For sure.
Yep. Give them the budget.
Fair. Cool. All right. Well, that's the thing. That's our list run through. Those are the games that are the most notable ones that people have been discussing this year. So we kind of touched on those. So I guess just a very, very quick rounding out. If you can only pick one game, just name your game. Mine is Ghost of Tsushima. 2-6.
Final Fantasy VII of Tsushima.
Oh, it's yeah. Hold on a minute.
Final Fantasy VII.
Paradise.
You can't.
I've got to make you pick.
You got to pick one. Go on.
Well, I'll say Last of Us Part 2, but you guys know what you guys know.
Best.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay. There we go. So technically, Ghost wins then, because there's a couple of. Yeah, I'm joking. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed.
A badge for our Arekkz game of the year. We should tweet it out. Innit? Our game of the year was Ghost. There you go.
There you go. We'll do it.
I'm happy with that.
So,
definitely.
That's it for the time being. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Keep it locked. We're going to have some more discussions over the Christmas period where we talk about games we're looking forward to next year. So hang tight, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Cool.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.